This is my Star Wars collection.
Hello again, everyone. This is Jack. I'm here with Jim today. We're speaking to another collector. His name is Andre. I'm seeing a ton of Star Wars action figures. Looks like a lot of mint on card Star Wars action figures back there. Andre, if you can, take a moment, introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Andre from little town in Sweden called Odeshog.
Sweden, all right, international again.
Yes, and my English is very bad, but I do the best of it.
You're doing great.
It's
And
nice
Andre,
to-
I'll say that your English is much better than our Swedish. So.
Oh, yes.
So let's go ahead and start off with tell us a little bit about yourself. Where in Sweden are you, and what do you do, and what's your motivation for collecting Star Wars figures?
The motivation is to feel the feelings from the childhood. It's the that I like the most of it. When was a child and get the stuff on Christmas. It's a very good feeling, I think. And when I walk around in this basement, I can feel that feeling again. I see the toys that I see back then in the shops, the marketplace.
And so we can see in the background you've got the carded figures, but also from the videos that you've sent and that I'll have shown here shortly, it looks like you've got quite a wide variety of products, action figures, vehicles. Did I see helmets and lightsabers in there? And is there any comics?
I don't have helmets or stuff like that. Only figures and boxed things, vehicles. And the most of it is from Power of the Force 2 and episode 1, and like that lines from 19th, early 20s.
And it seems as though most of it, at least what we can see in the background, is also the 3 3/4 inch size.
Oh, yes.
And so you also mentioned that you're predominantly the Power of the Force.
Yes.
Any particular reason why you like that particular series?
I think I was 7 years when I get my first Power of the Force toy, find it in a store. So it's the most, it's the film.
And what would you say your inspiration for Star Wars and Power of the Force is? What got you into it?
It started 2016 when the new Star Wars movie, maybe 2015 on the winter, I think. And I have my wife then, so he was pregnant, and I starting to look for Power of the Force figures on Facebook in the Swedish Star Wars groups, and look if I can find some piece from when I was a child, like Darth Vader and the Royal Guard was the first figures I come over.
And your motivation for collecting, is it a investment in product? Is it all for looks? Is it for enjoyment? Do you look to resell? Are you hanging on to it?
It's for myself, happiness and like that, not for invested things, I think. But it's really nice to know it's worth something too. But not for resale. I don't resell. If I get a big load maybe I sell some of the stuff. But it's upgrading first, and sell the not mint things.
Jim, let me jump in really quick here. I just want to ask Andre again kind of about his inspiration. You know, why Star Wars? What was it about Star Wars that made you say, this is what I want to collect?
It's yeah, I think it's came from my childhood. Me and my brother ska se. Played that we are the figures from the movies, like Darth Vader and Boba Fett in the woods, running around. So I don't have so many toys from that time, but I have the memories from playing. I think that is the inspiration for this now. And I have a idea when I was a child that I think it should be cool to display all the toys. But back then, it's hard to think that it should be possible to do back then. But now, when I'm a little older, it's free to do whatever I want.
And let me just follow up with that question. What was the first Star Wars movie that you personally watched?
I think it is A New Hope back in
was.
the 19s. What I remember, maybe 1996 or something. I'm 32 years old, so I was like 7 years or something when I first see the first movie. But episode 1, it's more more for me, special for me. But I was more. I was 10 years when that one release, so I have more connection with that movie and the old movies.
That makes sense. Thank you for clarifying that.
Now, a moment ago, you used the word grade, and based on what I can see behind you, are you into the various graded levels of product? I know you've got a number of autographed ones back there, so I have to assume that they're real high quality as well.
Oh yes, some of them are a really good grade things, but I have so much of them, so all of them are not the best shape or grade. But it's the work too, to find and upgrade the grades successively.
And I also notice you have a very large collection of the carded figures. I mean, the entire wall there, not just what we see in the window at the moment, but the entire length of the wall.
Oh, I think it's 7 meters, maybe more. And 7 meters, I think, and 7 shelves on each section. So I have 214 mocks behind me, and maybe 100 more on the other walls.
And in line with the graded aspect, what to you is the importance of the items collected? Is it the quality of the packaging, the figure itself, or is it just acquiring those particular figures that you don't have yet?
Oh yes, for the first, it's that you say that figures I don't have is the most important, but then it's the grade. But it can be hard to find the nice graded variants of some of them. So I'd be glad if I find it at all.
And I've also noticed from the videos, you've got a combination of the boxed or unopened. as well as the loose or opened up figures that you set up as scenes.
Oh yes, I wish I had both of them at least, both loose and one boxed of each of them.
In fact, go ahead.
I was just gonna, about the variants, I also noticed watching the video that you sent us that, especially with some of those Power of the Force figures, you have, you know, what's considered the long saber and also the short saber. Did you have any packages that have the short saber in the long packaging? Have you found any of those variants?
I have some of them too. I have it here on the start of the the shelves, I think.
Those have become very popular in the collecting community, so congratulations on finding a few of those.
Yes, but in Sweden, the collectors don't understand that it is a variant. It sell it like it's a normal
Right.
figs. I don't think it's so many variant collectors in Sweden, so they don't know something of it. So it's not the most expensive things to buy in Sweden. But if you look for something on eBay, it's another prices there.
And going back to the boxed and the loose, I did also notice in the video that you have a section that is the boxed version of a figure, and then you've also got the loose version placed right in front of it.
Oh yes. I think that it's nice to have both of them.
Do you ever take them out and play with them?
No. And that the little tape gonna sit there for a while too, so I don't think I'm gonna open it.
There you go. There you go. So I think you mentioned you were 33 and you were 10 years old when you first started collecting. So can I assume that collectively you've been collecting for 22 years?
I have collect from 2016. I don't collecting when I was a child at all. I have a few figures. I think I have 2 figures back from that time, and that was Gamorrean Guards and the Emperor. So I don't have more Star Wars things than just these 2 figures. And then 2016 I started to look around the internet for more, and Imperials I sold off a very big piece of the collection, and started again 2018 when I remove the stuff down here because I have it in my house first in a little room, and it's grown, so I don't have more piece.
And so you started off in a room up in the house, but now you're down in the basement. Is it in the entire basement? And do you still have room to expand?
I have room to expand down here, maybe a little room more here, and I have the whole house too, if it's gonna be so. And I have also a big house outside the house, like a garage store, so I can use 2 if I want. I have other toy lines down here too, so they gonna move if I get more Star Wars things.
So Jack is a real big fan of other variations. What else do you have besides Star Wars?
I have He-Man Motu. I have Jurassic Park. Mighty Max, Street Sharks, Battle Trolls, and more from the 90s and 80s too. All the action figures you can think about.
And as we can see, you've got a lot of the carded figures on shelves in the back. Your entire display, I think, is a combination of shelved and glass cases. Anything else that's pinned to the walls or suspended from the ceiling?
I think it's very important for me that it's displayed on the right side. I think it's more worth for the toys to stand in the cabin. So it's looked good for the visitors to look at it, and I get very much cred for that too. That display thing. It's not so many collectors that display it on this way.
And the cases that are the shelves that we see behind you, is that something that you purchased? Is that something that you built? Also, the glass cases, I assume that you purchased those as opposed to made those yourself.
The wall back here, I buy the shelves and build the rest for myself. And I have built rebuilt the glass cabins too, some of them. I like to do custom things and do it myself to I think it's nice to do.
And so a little USA joke, I assume you're not shopping at IKEA?
It's almost bara IKEA stuff in here. The cabins, the shelves, and everything. The lights are from IKEA too. The Wi-Fi getaway lights with dimmers and.
And speaking of lighting, how is your display lit? What kind of lighting are you using?
I use the IKEA system LED. It's a little dark in some of the cabins, but I use one LED light in every cabin and connected to a driver and up to my gateway, so I can control the lights from my phone.
And when you say LED, you mean LED type lights?
Oh yes. So I have a lot of that too.
And so your displays, how are they arranged? By age, by episode, by character, by scene?
It's different. Behind me, they are in variants. The same figures, but the power of the force is so big, so the figures release on more than one time. So it's variant here, and in the boxes are creatures, vehicles, and so and the cinema scenes. So it's
And
yes.
you mentioned you've got a little bit room to expand. I mean, is that room 50% full, 75% full? How much more can you expand in the basement aside from not going upstairs or outside into the garage?
Well, I have one room that I don't have anything in now, but I have an idea for that too. I must collect more cabins first to build a new cabin wall, and then I'm gonna build one more of this, not so long, but maybe 4 meters or something, for my other carded figures from other toy lines, so I can put more Star Wars things in this room.
So it's another shopping trip back to IKEA.
Oh yes, but Most of it I have buy on flea markets like that. I think I have buy 2 cabins on IKEA, direct from IKEA, and the rest from marketplace on Facebook or something.
And speaking of IKEA and marketplace and such, where are you really getting the bulk of your stuff? Is it online? Is it local toy stores? Where do you get the product?
Nowadays the collectors contact me if I want to buy their stuffs. But in the back in the days, I really hard to find it. So it's Facebook, eBay, not so many things from the flea markets. So the most of the stuff I find on internet, Facebook groups, Swedish Star Wars groups, is the most that I have find the most of it.
And those online groups, where is the product coming from? From within Sweden or outside of Sweden, the US, Australia? Where would that be shipped in from?
The most are from America, I think, and some of it's from England. I think they repacked some of the Japanese cards in England. So the most of the Japanese card are from England, I think. And some of the stuff are from toy shops.
And what about pricing? I mean, obviously there's a cost to the product, but what about the shipping cost? Is that affordable or is that ridiculous?
Oh, from America, it's very, very deep. Expensive. Very expensive from America, but from the rest of Europe, it's not so expensive. I think it's worth it more than from America.
And are you having to deal with customs or brokerage fees or anything like that?
No, no.
What are the Tatooine junk collectors called? Jawa. Did you get the correct answer? Either way, we hope you enjoyed testing your knowledge of all things Star Wars and had fun along the way.
It's bull. You're not listening. I'm making plenty of sales, but I'm losing way too much in seller fees.
So happy to hear you are making sales. Thank you for sharing.
But the fees hurt sellers and buyers.
Hey man, I've got a solution for your seller fees.
So all of the people I'm buying from have to jack up their
Collector
prices.
Alliance?
And then
Yeah,
I
it's a
jack
brand
up
new
mine.
marketplace where you can sell as much as you
How is
want,
that
keep the
fair?
full selling price, offer a stupidly low subscription.
To more about
Dude, this is gonna change everything.
The problem isn't the seller fees, but the way you view them. They are an industry standard and should be accepted as part of the norm. There is no platform which doesn't charge seller fees.
There's one now, the Collector Alliance.
Wait. Where are you going? Please help. I can't get up.
This is Jack in the Box. We finally get our box back from CAS.
Me? Poetry?
We don't just spread fun through action figures, we get close and personal with the actors that played these characters.
I'm Nick Joseph, and I played Major Arhul Extrafon.
You were the one that banged his head in that doorway?
Yes, that's me, yes.
And then they dressed me as a Hoth rebel.
Be sure to subscribe and binge watch all of our episodes. Thanks for tuning in to Jack in the Box.
So aside from yourself, are you the only collector there, or is your wife part of the collection?
It's only me and my children. They collect on My Little Ponies and some figures, princess. But otherwise, it's only me.
And as far as the collector itself, you being the collector, would you say that you're obsessive, compulsive? Is it a budgeted type of collection? Is it under control? Is it out of control?
It's out of control, I think. But no, some control is it too. But if I want a thing, I buy it. So it is. If I see something, it's I must have it.
Yeah, being a collector, there's a bit of a disease. There's an issue there.
Yes. It's the hard thing to have it on a nice grade of it, so it's not gonna be a problem. I see collectors that have big problems for. I think it's economic. They sell it away. And I think, well, I think must land in some peace or something to don't buy so much things. So it's nice to have a little control of it.
And so you mentioned that there are not that many collectors in Sweden, and a lot of the resellers actually contact you. So my question is, with such a vast collection that you have, aside from yourself and your family, who actually comes to see your collection?
Which ones? It's coming visitors to see the collection from whole Sweden, from the whole land. I think more and more. I think too.
And those resellers and such, they're approaching you, so they know who you are.
Oh yes, it's little local kändis, famous guy. But in Sweden, the most collectors don't collect in Star Wars. I think it's the most people I met collect on other toy lines too, like me. It's fine. It's that exists very much vintage Star Wars collectors in Sweden, but not so many that collect these things, I think.
That was actually going to lead me to a question, Andre. Why are you not collecting the vintage action figures?
I started with that too when back in the days, 2016, but I think it's not my thing to do. I have had all the 96 figures, I think, but I sell it. I don't. It's very nice figures, but very much much to know about the vintage stuff. So it's a little hard for me to come in that gang, I think, to have a full control of it. Repro weapons and that thing. It's very sad thing for the whole Star Wars collecting that that stuff come into the market, and I don't have that skill to see what it's repro or real things.
I know exactly what you're talking about. There's been all this 3D printing, especially with
Yes.
accessories, and a lot of them are reproductions.
Oh yes.
And as a collector, you don't want to buy reproduction stuff. You want to buy original stuff. And
No.
sometimes it's, if you don't have the knowledge or the skill,
No,
to figure that out,
very-
it's better just
very
not to
hard.
buy. That's interesting.
Oh, and I also love the box so much on these things. I love the boxes more than the figures. Some of them. I like the cards and the whole thing. Only from the beginning, I don't think I gonna collect on loose things at all. Not special the Power Force figures, but I come over a big lot, and the start there.
That's awesome.
So the box is the most important. I think it's the start for me.
And the boxes and the cards, not only is it the artwork on there, but the information that's contained on there kind of expands the story and gives a little bit more than the imagination of just having the figure alone.
Oh, yes. So I came over a lot with loose things, and I get the whole collection of card backs too. So I don't I wondered what I should do with the card backs. So I do small scenes of it and set it up with some of the vehicles and the figures. So it's more for the visitor to see the information signs from the card backs. So I think the card backs are more value to me, like scenes and like a card back.
And of course, you mentioned that you are very fond of Power of the Force. That's obviously your favorite movie or the favorite series. Is there a particular item within that line that you really like?
If it's a special thing I like in the Power of the Force, I like the mail-in order products very much. It's a little hard to find, and it's nice things, I think.
So just so I'm clear, when you're talking about the mail-in products, so you're talking about maybe like the Ghost of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, yes.
And also, I think the Han Solo in the Stormtrooper outfit was mail-in as well for the Power of the Force. Any specific characters?
Some of the character, I think Han Solo is a nice character with in a Stormtrooper, and it's hard to find too. So that's a really nice figure. And some of the cinema scenes, it's a little harder figures too. It's a little difference from the rest of the Power of the Force. So that's nice too. It's good. Everything is nice.
And so I'd written down a few things based on some of the videos that you had sent, and I wanted to ask a few questions. You've constructed certain scenes in there, one with the sand and such. Can you tell us what's in your mind when you go through? How do you set those up, and what is it you're trying to replicate?
Oh, it's made the display more alive with some sands and some flowers, green stuff in the Wookiee woods. It's highlighting the things more with some sands.
And
stuff
then there was
like that.
also the Jabba the Hutt scene, as well as the cantina scene.
Oh yes, I think it's a scene from the movie, so I think the visitor can, if they have seen the movies, they can relate it to this scene that I have built up.
And then I also wanted to ask a question. You have a number of autographed figures, which was very impressive. Mon Mothma, one from Kenny Baker of R2D2. There was also the guy who did Greedo, and then the guy who did Peter Mayhew, I think, did Chewbacca.
Oh yes, that's nice stuff too.
Now, did you buy those with the autograph, or did you take that and to a show and had that person sign it for you?
I find it on a Swedish side. We call it Tradera. It's like action. And there was a seller that only sell autographic things. So I buy it from that guy. And one of it I get in a big loot that I buy and find the Chewbacca in it.
Wow. Nice find.
Oh yes, so little fun things to have, some autographed things too in the collection.
For sure.
So that's nice.
I've got a Princess Leia back here that's got an autograph on it as well. And of course, in the very back corner is the whole group of the original characters with the autograph.
Really nice.
So I also remember seeing a Tusken Raider and the Bantha displays that you had set up.
Oh yes, that's nice too, and the Dewback behind it too.
Right.
So that's a hard things to find in Sweden too. The Bantha, I think it's very hard to find, and the Bantha with the sand is really nice too. I think it's right. It's right display for me.
And then there was also, you had, I think, a couple of Millennium Falcons in there as well, large ones as well.
Yes, two. I have two of them, and
Right.
three boxes, and all are different.
And then there was a ship there, and I cannot remember what it's called, but it was in the movie where they were on Jar Jar Binks' planet. Okay. And the Empire was coming in with those big kind of hovercrafts that, like a tank, that hovered over the ground and ran over Guan, whatever his name was, as well as Jar Jar Binks at one point. I'm trying to remember what that was called.
Oh, or it's MTT, I think, or something. MTT or RTT. I think it's MTT, but I don't remember the whole word for it. But it's really, that was a really nice buy. I gave 300 Swedish crown for it, and it's worth maybe 2,000 crowns. Wow. So it's really nice. My brother drive over to a little child and buy it.
Yeah, I've not seen that ship available. Not that I've been looking for it, but it hasn't popped up to me. So I thought it was quite unusual.
Oh yes, it's very unusual in Sweden to find it. So sometimes it's popped up on the marketplace, and that's only to buy it.
Nice purchase. That's
very cool. Very cool. Jack, you have any other questions?
Well, I mean, since you are a fan of the Star Wars movies, would you say there's any one particular character that you would say is your favorite character, and why?
I I like Darth Vader, I think, and it's in this series. It's find very much different figures of Darth Vader without helmets and that, and like I say before, that character I played when I was a child. In the
You were
wood.
Darth Vader.
Yes. So that's the biggest character for me, I think.
And then how I might be wrong about this, but the word Vader, isn't that a Swedish word?
Oh, I think so. Vader.
What does Vader mean in Swedish?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's I might be wrong about that one. I Vader was a foreign word that meant father in some.
Oh, yes,
sure it was Swedish or somewhere else.
That's what I heard too. So right. I don't think it's on different in Swedish.
Understand. Yeah. Well, thank you.
And so overall, it's a very, very impressive collection that you have, Andre. My final questions are going to be, what advice would you give to other potential collectors as to how to go about collecting, how to go about acquiring stuff, what to look for, and how to display it?
Well, for the first, take it easy when you collect. Don't buy too much in the beginning. I think take it little easy. If it's gone go. And I think that the display is very important. So take some time to think how you should display the things, so it's look more interesting for the visitors. I think it's very important to me to do that. Nice display things, so it's not gonna be in a boxes or something in a storage somewhere.
Yes, I've noticed a lot of collectors seem to enjoy just collecting, or what we call the hunt. And as soon as they acquire it, either it gets put on a shelf and they don't pay any attention to it, or it gets put into a box. And until years later, when they find out what's in the box.
No, exactly. So for me, it's the display is the most important thing to do. I will show all my stuff in a proper way to do it. So
it's a very, very impressive display of everything you have. When I was watching the videos that you sent to Jim, I mean, that whole wall, I was just, my mouth was agape of how much it was, but then you went around a corner and then another corner and another corner, and it just kept expanding, including, the non-Star Wars things that you have as well. Very, very impressive, Andre. Congratulations on the collection and also the way you display it.
Thank you so much. Nice to hear.
And thank you for being part of our little series here. We really enjoyed hearing your version on why you're collecting and what you have and how you've gone about displaying it.
It's nice to be with you in this movie video. Nice to do something else. And instead of only loading up pictures on Instagram, and that it's nice to do other things too, like that this we have done today. And it's very new for me to do it, so it's a nice thing to start with.
Well, it's our hope that this series will become very popular, and that once it's posted on YouTube, that there'll be a number of questions. And so certainly check back once we officially put it on YouTube, so you can see and maybe respond to some of the collections that some of the questions that some of the people may have for you.
Oh yes, it's nice to get some questions too, to see what the crowd think about it. And it's only fun, I think.
Yes, the crowd, these collective Star Wars companionship.
Oh yes, it's nice.
Absolutely. And I'll remind everyone, if you want to see more content like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. There's a ton of other videos that you can watch and listen to other collectors about their collection. Hit that like button, that helps us out a lot. And if you do have any comments or questions for Andre, leave a comment down below. He's going to check back in a few days, a few weeks, a few months, and answer some of those comments and questions. So that's all open to everybody out there. This has just been a really fantastic morning for me to talk to Andre and see his collection, kind of understanding the whys behind the collection. Thank you so much for this. You know, I always end on "May the Force be with you," Andre. Thank you again.
May the Force be with you.